Welcome to the Diary of a Former Fat Kid. I'm your host and former fat kid, Brian Grizz Butler. And today I have the privilege of hanging out with Lina Smith. She is a Christian fitness and wellness coach, the founder of True Image Fit, and the author of In Human Move, The Journey to Purpose-Driven Fitness. Welcome, Lina. How are you today?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm good. So
Awesome.
before we dig into your story, I have a question for you.
Okay,
Is there a food or meal that you have a strong emotional connection
that's a good question.
to?
um, I love pasta of all
Okay.
kinds.
Okay. Nice.
I guess I'm part Italian, so maybe it's that, like in
Okay.
my genes, that it's influencing that. But lasagna, any shape, any kind, I love pasta.
Nice. Nice.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Is there, so I'm assuming with being part Italian, like, are
Yeah.
there pasta in abundance at different family get togethers or holidays?
For sure. When I go to my Italian side, oh man, the food galore. Especially being a fitness person, it's a challenge. But and like culturally, if you don't eat, it's like eat, mancha, mancha. It's like the pressure to eat is crazy, but it's
Mhm.
fun.
Right.
But yeah, I love it. Definitely not the greatest to eat all the time, but hey,
Delicious. Okay. So when you
yes.
all get together, I guess in true Italian fashion, is it like homemade pasta or is it store-bought pasta or is it a mix?
Yes. Well, like my family, like my dad would make the store bought. He's actually born in Canada. He was the only one of
Okay.
his siblings born in Canada. So
Okay.
his all his siblings and his obviously his parents were born in Italy. So he's kind of
Okay.
Canadianized, I guess.
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
Yeah. But at home we would just make like the store bought pasta. But when we went to like our Italian side to see our cousins, uncles, and stuff, it was handmade pasta. So that was always exciting and fun.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Okay, so your dad is nationally Canadian, ethnically
yeah,
Italian. That's your mom.
yes. My mom's from Grenada. She's from the Caribbean.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's right. Quickly, I mean, like, how'd they meet? Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's like, wow, it's so random. So when my mom moved to Canada, she was renting in the neighborhood that my dad lived in. They were like 2 or 3 doors down.
Hmm.
So my dad would always see her walking. And what they were saying is that my mom's teeth were always really white. So he used to be like, like she used to, I guess, brush her teeth with like baking soda or like whatever, like hydrogen peroxide.
Hmm.
So he would always be like, that lady's teeth are so white. Like, it would be the lady with the white teeth. And like, I guess like she would always see her walking. So somehow they started talking and then here I am.
Nice. Right. Cool,
Yeah,
cool,
but
cool.
they live close to each other. That's how they met.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Um, does Caribbean cuisine also make its way into your day to day? And I mean, I would assume it was involved, in
Yes.
your upbringing as well. So,
Yeah.
what's your favorite
100%.
Caribbean dish?
Oh, that's hard. So my husband is Jamaican, so they usually make ackee and saltfish, but the Grenadian style, they don't make it with ackee. It's just saltfish with like veggies and tomatoes. So I like both,
Hmm.
but I enjoy the Grenadian style
Yeah.
version of saltfish. Um, but yeah, I mostly grew up actually eating. Well, it was a mixture. It was a fusion, I guess.
Okay.
Pasta, pasta and Caribbean food fusion all the time. But I mostly actually grew up with my Caribbean side, so that's kind of the side I ate more foods of, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, but I'd say saltfish is the my main one, and roti. How could I forget roti? I love
Nice. Okay.
roti.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Good. I've had roti. I haven't had saltfish.
Okay. Okay. You got to try
Okay, I will. Although
it.
I'm like, I mean, there's got to be a place here in Chicago. I know there's some Jamaican places. Although
Yeah, maybe you'll
I'll
find
have
the
to.
Jamaican.
Yeah, I have to
Yeah.
ask some Jamaicans that I know. Like, okay, which place do you recommend? So I don't know. Like,
Yes.
yeah. stuff. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Um, so, I mean, you've already, in the intro, we already covered, like, you've done a lot. You got the business, you got the book. But, like,
Yes.
tell us, actually, and I have your book. Boom.
What?
Yep,
Oh,
got the book, read it,
thanks.
liked it,
Oh,
encouraged by
oh,
it.
praise God.
So
Thank you.
in your book, you mentioned what turned into a 2-year break from Instagram. And so obviously people watching this are like, okay, she's in fitness. Like, Instagram is really big for fitness. Like, how did that come about? What was it like? What led to that break from Instagram?
Yeah. Growing up, I dealt with a lot of insecurity.
Mm.
I had a lot of acne scarring, and so that was something that really made me just feel like, seen by everyone. And actually, people did make comments about it when I was in school, in elementary school. So that made it even worse. And so that, and on top of just being on Instagram, I found that I was looking at, fitness pages for inspiration,
Yeah.
but instead of it being inspiration, it actually became this thing where I would compare myself to the women that I saw. And so, I was in the fitness field. It was in university. I was studying kinesiology. And, I thought, let me add these fitness pages just to help find new exercises, or, just be inspired and motivated to do more. But yeah, it's because of my dealing with insecurity growing up, it just led into also onto Instagram. It led, like, it flowed into that insecurity in a different way.
Yeah.
And so it was really tough. It was heavy for me. The insecurity I felt, it was very emotionally draining. And I just got to this place where I'm like, you know what? If this is causing me to feel this way, and if I'm going on there and it's actually not helpful, it's not like encouraging me or inspiring me, like, I need to come off of it for a while. And I didn't know it was going to be 2 years. I really didn't. It's kind of like the scripture in the Bible that talks about, if anything, if your hand offends you, cut it off, your foot, cut it off. So I thought, I'm going to cut it off. And it was hard at first, but after a while, it kind of became easy. And it was like, I kind of felt at peace. It was like kind of just like the burden lifted off my shoulder, because there can be a lot of pressure with social media. Yeah, that's kind of how it came about and what happened.
Okay. Yeah. I can totally see that. Would you say that there was an aspect of kind of like what you focus on, you start to become, and that was in some ways happening with Instagram as well?
Exactly. It started off as like, a genuine, like, I just want to learn more about fitness and be inspired. But it like you're saying, it just kind of consumed me, and I guess became an idol really in my life. Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
During those 2 years, I guess what was taking place in you? Because obviously you're back on Instagram now. We've interacted on there, some of the stuff. So, what took place in those 2 years? Kind of move through that stuff.
I was in university, and so that was another reason too, where I'm like, let me come off, because it was also being a distraction to me. I needed to study my books. So yeah, I was really focused on schooling, and just I was heavily a part of my church, just involved in a lot of things. I was working part-time. So yeah, I had a lot of things going on, and those things kind of kept me active. Facebook, I was still on Facebook, but Facebook is not the same as Instagram. Facebook's a little bit different. Yeah. Yeah. So I still kind of had that as like a social outlet, but it wasn't like, on, Facebook, you're just looking to see people's lives, and, people post about what their families and stuff. So I didn't find it as the same struggle on Facebook as I did on Instagram, if that made sense. And I hadn't started my business then, so I didn't really need to be on there for anything. So that kind of was helpful, because I didn't have it was just for personal pleasure, really, and personal posting, that I had my Instagram account before.
Yeah. And part of the goal was, you were hoping it would be personal development, but it actually wanted to be an outlet initially.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. Gotcha. You put it perfectly.
Okay. Um, so studying university, you were focused on kinesiology. What else did you study first?
Yeah, that was my degree. It was kinesiology and
Okay.
health sciences. Yeah, that was my whole degree. So um, that was my priority thing. Just anatomy, biology, all those classes that go into that, exercise
Mm-hmm.
science. I actually wanted to be a physiotherapist, but I don't know. I was so tired after those 4 years of school. I'm like, I can't even think of going back to school again, to be honest.
Gotcha. And because you're going to get your certification and all the additional
Yeah.
education for that. So that
Yeah.
would be
For
really
here, you
great.
need to get a master's degree. I don't know about the States, but like 4 years undergrad,
Hmm.
and then you go and do 2 years master's program to become a physiotherapist.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So
So,
I just said I wanted to go into fitness. So I kind of just decided to take that route instead.
okay. Before we started recording, you mentioned that you worked for, what was it, 5 years at a
Hmm.
long-term care facility. Can you tell me more about
Yes.
that?
Yes. So yeah, I graduated from university, and I was looking for jobs in my field, working as a kinesiologist. But the way it works here is you actually need to be registered to be a kinesiologist and be called a kinesiologist, even though you've done the program.
Hmm.
It's kind of like a nurse; you need to be registered. So it was kind of difficult finding a position as a kinesiologist because I wasn't registered as yet. I was working on it.
Hmm.
So I was applying to all those jobs, kinesiologists, like um, physio assistants too, because I was able to do that, and I
Okay.
just wasn't like really finding anything. And so I finally stumbled upon this recreation facilitator position, and I saw that a kinesiology like degree was something that could allow me to get this position. So I was like, okay, I never really thought of that avenue or that role. And
Hmm.
I always enjoyed working with seniors. I actually volunteered in high school at a hospital and I was with seniors. So I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. I have experience with them. So I applied, and that was the job I got, about 6 months after graduating university. And so I that's where I was for 5 years, at the long-term care home as a recreation facilitator. So I would call myself like the fun lady. Pretty much was the fun lady at the seniors home. Yeah. Actually,
Right.
though, I played games with them, which was what was awesome was that it was a Christian home. So it
Mm-hmm.
was like so great, like to be be able to express your faith at the workplace.
Hmm.
I sang hymns with them. We played games. We did exercises.
Hmm.
A variety of programs I did. Literally, my job was to help increase their quality of life. Um,
Yeah.
Especially a lot of the residents that I worked with were dementia. They had dementia, Alzheimer's,
Mhm.
and so it's very difficult to deal with. And so it was just
Yeah.
trying to help them enjoy, these last bit of their life, some of them, as best as I could. And yeah, that was my time there for about 5 years.
Wow. Okay. Um, how did your time there kind of inform how you approach fitness and yes, not just fitness, but I
Yeah,
mean, your approach is it's more than fitness, and we'll get into that. But like, what are some
for
of the
sure.
key lessons you learned during your time there that you now
Yeah,
apply to your business?
yeah. Just seeing what the residents were going through. They had a lot of health complications, on top of the dementia, like, other things that they were dealing with. And it really showed me the importance of taking care of your body. It showed me the importance of being active, eating nutritious foods, and of course you can do your due diligence and still sickness come upon you. But for the most
Yep.
part, it gives you this barrier or this protection to eliminate the chances of something happening. So being there was really just like an eye opener, to show the importance of your health. It gave me a deeper appreciation, for things like your mind, your memory, and just being grateful for the body that I have, and that's impacted the way I do things, because I also, the approach I take is to remind people that, like, we need to be thankful for this body that we have, that like God created. Some people don't have the abilities that we have, and so if we can move, we should be thankful. We should utilize that, ability, and even people who have limited um, abilities can still have something to be thankful for. Because, even at the home, a lot of the residents were in wheelchairs, but I still was able to do seated fitness with them. They still had some ability to move. Whatever you're dealing with, there's something you could be thankful for and grateful for in terms of, what your body can do and how your body is just helping you live, right? If that makes sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And so I guess from there, you worked there for 5 years, and then can you tell us about the journey from there to the start of your company?
Yes. Yeah. So, like I was sharing with you before, COVID came. I started working at that company in the end of 2016. Yes, end of 2016. COVID came, and I was still working there. I was working in the COVID wing, and my job kind of switched a little bit because, I couldn't be doing group games like I was doing before, group activities. So it kind of switched to individual one-to-one, and I actually ended up doing a lot of video calls with families and that sort of thing. So anyways, my role had switched, and it was a tough time, very, very stressful, as many people have experienced in that time. But it came to the point where they actually had mandated the vaccine in the long-term care homes. And, I just didn't feel led to take it for a variety of reasons. And so I made the tough decision to leave my job. Actually, they put me on leave of absence. Funny, I'm still on leave of absence. But anyways, that's another story. I don't understand. And anyways, that's another story. But I decided to leave. And for years growing up, I had always thought about starting my own like fitness business, faith and fitness. I had written down, in my journals and my books, like ideas that I had and stuff like that. And even while I was working there, funny, actually the last probably 2 or 3 years, I was kind of feeling unsettled. I was feeling like I wanted to do my fitness business. Like these ideas that I had, I was feeling like, I wanted to get it started, but I didn't know where to start. And it's kind of dealing with, I guess, perfectionism. Like I was like, I need to have everything perfect in order to start. And also working full time was kind of tricky, being able to like start it up and be working. And so going on leave, it kind of like gave that open door. I kind of felt this release to kind of jump into it and get started. And I definitely feel like it was the Lord that allowed to happen, because like I was saying, I was feeling unsettled the last 3 years. It's not that I didn't like the job, but I just felt like that desire to go into more fitness was there. And I just felt like that's what I was supposed to do. So the fact that all happened, I'm like, okay, God, this is just you making it very clear that, this is the route that you want me to take. And so, I stopped working November 2021. And the last few months before I left, I had sensed that was going to be what happened. And so I was already working on my business, and, just going on, working on the details, like the name and all that stuff. And I started it the November 2021, so the end of 2021. So pretty much like a month after. And, everything wasn't perfect, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start it in faith and see what happens. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where I am. That's how it kind of came to be. But, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that brings to mind it's a really important lesson for entrepreneurs, and one that took me a long time to learn. And in some ways, I'm still learning, but the importance of taking action and not letting like perfection be the enemy of good. And so like taking action, getting out there with an imperfect product or idea and testing it, getting feedback, moving
Exactly.
forward and adjusting on the fly, as opposed to sitting
Yeah.
back and saying, I'm going to study and observe and then make this thing perfect before I launch,
Yeah.
which usually turns into procrastination and,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Uh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's interesting because I see you kind of transitioned yourself also, right? In your
Yeah.
business. I think I saw a post recently, so you definitely understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. The shift to more, um, yeah, because I've been doing I guess you could say the common term is brand design, but
Yes.
uh, I'm shifting a bit more away from using some of the terminology, or at least redefining it.
Okay. Yeah.
Brand, brand is essentially reputation,
Mm.
but we use it synonymously for business. And
Yeah.
so you have a
It's
business
true.
which has a brand,
Yeah.
i.e., a reputation.
Yeah.
Um, so that's one of the shifts that I'm making for myself in terms of thinking and language, et cetera. But then
Okay.
also focus on the health and wellness space, because like you during the
Yeah.
pandemic, um, I saw a lot of just, well, you have the pandemic and then you have like the death tolls, and then you're looking at the data and you're like, okay, a lot of the people who are being most heavily impacted by this are seniors, which
Yeah.
often happens. But then
Yeah.
also people, there's a lot of comorbidities. And then you look at the
Exactly.
comorbidities in the US and some other developed countries compared to other areas, and you're like,
Yeah.
girls. And I've had my
Yeah.
own journey with, weight and nutrition and
Yes.
body image, things like that. And so it's like, all right, well, like I'm not going back to school to get, a degree in
Exactly.
nutrition. And then I was like, but I can apply my skills in design and branding, etc.,
Yeah.
come alongside nutrition and
For sure.
fitness and mental and spiritual health professionals
Yes.
to help build stronger businesses, to help, improve the quality of more
Definitely.
people's lives. So that's the shift that I've been making, you know.
That's
So
awesome though.
yeah. And that's ultimately how we wound up talking as well, just on Instagram and chatting and
That's
stuff.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's true.
Yep.
That's true.
Yep.
That's the thing, again, like you're saying about like taking that step, is like you don't know the connections that you're going to make too, like
Yep.
if I think about it sometimes, and even my husband reminds me sometimes when there's discouraging moments where I'm like, man, am I actually supposed to be doing this? But he
Yeah.
reminds me, he's like, look at the connections you've made, look at the things that you've done. Like if you didn't start, like
Mm.
you wouldn't have gotten here or met these certain people, so
Yep.
yeah, it's a journey. I'm grateful, and it just takes a step for sure.
Yep. Taking that
Yeah.
first step.
Yeah.
What would, this is kind of backtracking a little bit. So your
Yeah.
time at the long-term care facility, and one of the goals of this podcast is to provide just simple steps for everyday people who are
Mhm.
interested in improving their health, whether it be mental, physical,
Yes.
or spiritual. What are some ways that you would encourage folks or instruct people who are like, all right, I need to be healthier, I need to take the first step? Like, how would you counsel those folks?
Mhm. So you're saying from the long-term care home perspective?
So you have, yeah, let me clarify. So
Yeah.
I guess you want to working with like that
Yes.
population, and even
Yes.
in a particular state. Yeah, let's start there. Somebody
Okay.
who
Sure.
has restricted ability, either due to
Hmm.
age or something else. How would you
Yes.
encourage them to kind of start thinking about, all right, I can take a small step here or there to be a
Yes.
better steward of what God has given?
Hmm. Yeah, that was challenging, especially being in the dementia ward.
Yeah, sure,
So definitely
sure.
had to work with more than just someone's,
Oh,
regular what's the word, lack of motivation. I had to deal with other things too, in
mm,
regard to their disease. And so that was kind of tricky. But what I found helped with working with the seniors is fun. If I made it fun, then they would want to do it. And so I would put
mm,
on fun music. I would just be so excited with them. I would pump them up, and they love that. I would also like involve like games, like I would throw the ball to them or they would pass to each other. So fun was the thing that really helped motivate them and get them to actually come out to the program. And I think it's not just for seniors.
Yeah.
or people who have, in their state. But I think for anyone, like fun is it's a huge thing. Exercise is difficult, so if you can add something that you enjoy, if that can be implemented into your like movement and fitness routine, that would definitely help motivate you more and
Uh-huh.
help you to adhere to your fitness program or activity more than if it was something that you dread.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's I guess from the long term care perspective. I really had to do that, or else they would not show up. But if they knew like, oh man, it's music time, we're gonna have fun. Like they were like, okay, bring me. Like I want to come.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you have to navigate individuals who really just did not like working out or exercising at all? And even if you tried to make it fun, they just had reasons for why it
Yep.
couldn't be fun for them and they couldn't do it. So how did
Yes.
you navigate that?
Definitely. That was hard. And sometimes, like, there was nothing you could say that would literally help them.
Yeah.
They were so stuck. I remember this one lady, and, my manager and the nurses and stuff were like, can you please try to get her to do something? Like, it'll help her with her movement and stuff. Can you really
Mm-hmm.
try to, like, talk to her? And, I would sit with her, laugh, we'd make jokes, and, then I try to slip it in, like, we're having our, fun and fitness program. Like, you want to come? She's like, no, 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 no. Every time she said she had, um, I could be exaggerating the number, but it was somewhat like a huge number. She said, like, I have 10 boys. Like, I've done enough exercise all my life. The lady was like in her 90s. So I was
Okay.
like, I don't even know what to say to you after that because like I hear what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
would try to encourage her to say like, it's still good for you now, it'd be helpful for you. But like some people are kind of like, I'm 90, like I'm done. Like they would just kind of have that kind of response. So it was tough. And some of those I literally couldn't do anything with. Like
Yeah.
I it's hard. There needs to be some sort of willingness, and I think that goes for everyone. Like I can't I'm a coach, but I can't force you to do
Mm-hmm.
anything, right? You have to have some sort of understanding and recognize that, this is good for me, and it may not be something that I well, hopefully you can put in some enjoyment, but let's just be real. Sometimes exercise is just not fun, and you just
Yeah.
have to push past that and understand that it's good for me. So it was tough. I can't say it was easy. There were some really tough ones. There was others where if they didn't actually want to come out to the group program, I would do it one to one to within their room, and they were
Mm.
more willing to do that. So some were okay with that, and some were just like, no, like I'm not doing it at all. So
Gotcha.
yeah, it
Okay.
was tricky.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I guess with one of my grandparents in law who's now deceased with the Lord.
Hmm.
Yeah, there comes a point where um you get old enough and you're just like,
Yeah, like
whatever,
what's the point?
I'm good. Yeah. Like I'm gone soon anyway. So what if you're
I'm
like,
like,
okay.
no.
Um
Yeah.
but
So
I guess that also brings up the point too, like there has to be a desire and motivation
yeah.
with the person to do it.
Hmm.
And you talk some about this as well, and I've chatted some about this too, about the importance of, especially for the believer,
Yes.
uh, and for anybody who's watching this who doesn't know what a believer is. We're both Christians, so we're talking about someone who is disciple and follower of Christ, Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Um, and so the importance of, I guess, having our mind renewed and our view of our bodies, our
Yeah.
minds, our whole beings changed and seen through the lens of Christ. And
Yes.
um, yeah, so you've talked some about that in your book. You want to
Mhm.
like elaborate more on that and kind of what your journey has been with that?
Yeah, for sure. I think I didn't always have that perspective, like
Yeah.
that faith based perspective. I think um, when I was young, going to church and got saved. I slowly started seeing the connections between like the word and
Mm-hmm.
our fitness journey. And as I would read the word, like things would just come to my mind, and I was like, oh, this is so interesting how these connect and that sort of thing. And it's like slowly over time, I began to see like how important it is to like integrate the two of them, right? And the Bible talks about everything that we should do, everything that we do, we should do unto the Lord. And so that includes our health and our fitness, right? That includes the way we take care of our bodies. But I think sometimes we can compartmentalize the two, not even
Mm-hmm.
just health. Like we compartmentalize a lot of things,
Yep.
but health I find is one of them. But like you were alluding to, like renewing your mind and having a new perspective on health and understanding that God created my body. He's given me this body. And, I am to be a steward of what he's given to me, right? We think of stewardship and all the time we think it's like money, a steward of
Yep.
my money. But it's like you're a steward of anything that he's given to you, and he's given you everything, right? So everything that you have, you have
Yep.
to take care of it and use it wisely. And so coming from that perspective, I you know I believe more believers should have that perspective, and when you're taking care of your body, it's not just for the physical. It is for the physical benefits. Like God designed our body to respond to exercise, respond to food the way it does, but also
Mm-hmm.
understanding it's to honor God with the things that he's given to you. Honor God with your body. And it's so you're able to be more effective in the things that he's called you to do, like whether it's your family, whether it's ministry, your work. Everyone has a calling that God has called them to do. But it's like if you're
Mm-hmm.
sick, if you're unhealthy, like how are you going to be effective in those things? And so we do it so that we can be more efficient for the kingdom and for his purposes. So yeah,
Yep.
it's definitely takes renewing and shifting your mindset. Um, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's been, I guess, a more recent development for me as well. Thinking
Hmm.
about it in those terms, which for a long time for me, the health journey was um, like I just need to not be fat, and it was so.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
real. It's real.
yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
but more from a less from a this will improve, and some of it was just lack of knowledge too. But I wasn't thinking about it
Yeah.
from the standpoint of like, you know, long term, et cetera. It was more like I don't feel good, and socially, I don't like the effect that my size
Yeah.
has on some of the dynamics that are at play. And
Yeah.
so, like, I gotta, change this. But I guess within the last, like few years, has been
Hmm.
the, a growth of like, okay, it's not just fitness for fitness sake,
Yeah.
but it's stewarding my body well. So like, as you said, I can be the
Yeah.
better for my wife, I can be better for kids, my
Yeah.
extended family, um, you know, serving in church and meeting the needs
Hmm.
of others as well, showing up well for your job. You don't
Yes.
sleep well, you don't think well, you don't
Exactly.
regulate your emotions well, you don't
Yeah.
perform well, all these things.
Yeah.
you know,
Exactly.
and so, and with even more recently, the
Hmm.
understanding of the integration of um, our souls and our bodies, and how we can so easily separate the two without
Yeah.
even realizing it. Even as Christians, we're not supposed to, but
Yeah.
we're like, the body does these things, the soul does these
Yes.
things,
Exactly.
and even I guess misconstruing in some ways the
Hmm.
like in my weakness he is made strong. And so like if I'm frail physically and struggling and different things like that, well, these
Yeah.
are opportunities for God to show up more. So you're like,
Yeah.
okay, in a sense, but like if this is self-inflicted, then you know so,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway.
It's a good point. I try to be nice about it, but it's true. Like, if it's something that you've done, and a lot of diseases you know, that is the main diseases that people are struggling with these days are lifestyle modifiable diseases, right? So that means
Right.
like you've had some part in causing it. So not to say that God can't heal. I believe God is a healer, you know,
Absolutely.
and he can for sure. But it's like I think about like, okay, he heals you from this or something like diabetes. Are you going to go back to the same ways that caused you to have it in the first place? Like, you know, I think of I think it was the leper. Like the Lord or Jesus heals him and
Uh-huh.
says, "Go and sin no more." You know, I kind of think of
Uh-huh.
like the same idea. It's like, okay, I've healed you. Go and don't do these behaviors anymore. You
Yeah, the
know,
woman
but
at the
it's
well
like
too.
exactly. So it's really it's like sin. We have to acknowledge, okay, um, I've sinned. Like if you don't acknowledge it, it's how are you going to change? That's repentance is acknowledging that you know you're a sinner and turning. It's the same with
Mhm.
your health journey. It's like, okay, I've done this. I've acknowledged that, you know, like these behaviors, these habits that I've engaged in have caused me to be like this, and I need to change. You know, it's the same idea, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
This question just came to mind. It's super random.
Okay.
Um, it'll sound super random, but so you mentioned that you had acne when you were younger, and
Hmm.
acne scars and stuff. Obviously, like you have close up photos of yourself on like social media and different things like that, and your skin looks incredibly clear. So, like,
Thank
what
you.
what what happened? My wife's an
I s-
esthetician. My wife's a medical
Pardon?
esthetician. So I said my wife is a medical esthetician, and so
Oh,
like all the skin is like she's worked with folks with acne and
yeah.
things like that before, and so it's like, okay, wait a minute, it's like what
I
what
should talk
changed
to her.
for you? Oh, I'll connect you, but like yeah, what changed? Right.
I still have some. I still you can't maybe it's the camera. I still have some. It's not perfect, but
Okay.
my diet, I would say when I was growing up, I was very active, love fitness, love
Yeah.
sports. You could find me playing any sport possible.
Okay.
But when it came to food, I didn't care. I was just eating anything I wanted. I was like, I'm active, so I don't really have to like care about the foods that I'm eating.
Mm-hmm. You're
But
like, I'll burn
as I
it
got
all for fuel.
exactly, and I did, you know, when you're young, that's how it is. You
Yep.
can kind of have more leeway to kind of just do whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, I was so active, so like I didn't really care. But over time, I realized that it was my diet that was a part of, you know, the breakouts, constant breakouts, and that sort of thing. And so, with a change of diet and also just taking better care of my skin, um,
Mm.
just finding products that work well for my skin, natural products like I come from a home where we just like trying stuff. We just rub aloe on our face or rub just all kind of, you know, kind of stuff. And
Uh-huh.
so even trying stuff like that has been really helpful. Actually, recently, this is my go-to, um, flaxseed gel, and I just put it all over my face, and I feel like it's very helpful for like acne scarring and that sort of thing. So, yeah, just a mixture of trying things, diet, um, skincare products, and like just natural things that I've been using. So,
Okay.
yeah, not
Cool.
perfect. Sometimes I must say, sometimes there's times where I don't eat well, and I definitely see how it impacts my skin. But
Yeah.
health is a big thing for it for sure.
Okay. Cool. I wondered if nutrition played a part in it at some
Yes,
point. I was like, okay, let me ask because there's a tie.
100%.
Yep. And then for
Yes,
anybody who happens to be watching as well, obviously a lot of people struggle with breakouts and acne and
yes,
the ability to think about the connection that the food has to our skin.
yeah, huge, huge, huge. Drinking water too is a
Okay.
big
Staying
one.
hydrated.
Yes, is water so helpful for your skin, but even that I still kind of struggle with. But I struggled a lot more when I was younger. But I because I'm like trying, I was actively trying to take care of my skin. I try to be more intentional about drinking water. So
Okay.
yeah,
Cool. Um, in your book, you also mentioned a journey that lasted at least a few years,
yeah.
where fitness was,
Peace.
yeah. So obviously that is, I've been through my own, tons of people can relate to that,
Yeah,
and we had an assumption that like, okay, she was into sports when she was young and she's a
yeah,
fitness coach. But it's
yeah,
like, she doesn't get my struggle, but that's
yeah.
not that.
100%. Yeah. So again, like I was saying, I was always very active growing up, high school, university, and then when I got married now, um, working. I just got to this place where I just didn't want to work out as much anymore. I did, but it was very sporadic,
Mm-hmm.
very, very sporadic. And something that I think most people know is that consistency is very key in order to see results. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I just got to this place where so embarrassed to say this, but I'm just going to say it. One time, me and my husband, we drove to the gym and we were sitting in the car and we're just like so tired. It was a long day. And we're like, man, let's go order a pizza and go home.
Wait a minute. So you were in the parking lot at the gym?
We're in front of the gym. Terrible. But
I mean,
anyways, it
that's
was a
real.
rough time. Yes,
That's
real. It's
real.
real. It's real. Don't do this. Don't do it. Go inside the gym. Okay.
Wow.
But yeah, it was just, I guess, I don't know, married life transition. Just
Yeah, for
lost the
sure.
motivation. And that happens, and like I speak about in the book too. Can women get pregnant? You switch jobs or you switch career, and things could happen to kind of switch you off. Whatever kind of lifestyle you were before. But yeah, I got to the point where it was about 3-ish years, and I had gained some weight. I was feeling so lethargic, tired all the time. I always felt like sick, just like I didn't know what it
Mm.
was, but I just felt this feeling of being sick. And people noticed actually. They would make comments and stuff, subtle comments or whatever. And it was tough. And I finally got to the point where I'm like, I don't want to feel this way anymore. I don't want to be tired doing simple tasks that I had done before, like walking up the stairs. I'm like, I'm 20 something. I shouldn't be feeling this, and it was really tough to kind of acknowledge where I had gotten to, especially,
Mm.
from being an athlete to now getting to this place where it's like I couldn't do simple activities. I was like, it was really embarrassing for me. And it was really hard to acknowledge.
Mm.
But I got to the place where I'm like, I have to acknowledge it. I have to recognize this is just where I'm at. And it's either I do something about it or not. And what was helpful was definitely talking to my husband. He was great encouragement during that time, and
Mm.
just prayer, just saying, God, like I don't want to be in this place anymore. Please, like, give me the strength to take care of my body. And it started off with just 5 minutes of exercise. Literally, I would get so tired if I tried to do some more, and it was quite
Mm.
embarrassing. But that's just where I was at. So I started with 5 minutes, a couple times a week, and slowly I was just able to do 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And yeah, but it was just what was key to that period of starting up was the consistency. Even though it was something small, it was like doing it several times a week was what really helped me to build back my energy and feel just more strength, just feel more alive. It's just really
Mhm.
helped me, even that small bit of exercise. But yeah, it was an interesting time. But I'm actually really grateful for that time, which I think I
Yeah.
say in the book too, because like you're saying, people are like, you don't understand what I'm going through. But it's like, I'm able to understand where people are at now because I went through that experience. So I feel like
Yeah.
it helps me to be a better coach because I'm able to sympathize with people and where they're at.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not going to come to you and tell you like go and do that hour workout because I know you're not going to be able to. I know it's not realistic, and so if it's 5 minutes, that's where you got to start, or even if it's like changing something in your diet, small changes, they really are impactful, really are.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. What would you say? How do I want to phrase this? One of the things that I've frequently heard from, uh, I guess, which tends to be kind of common in college, is that you learn a lot in college, but it
Hmm.
doesn't necessarily prepare you for the real world and
Yeah.
applying these skills and knowledge in the real
Yes.
world. So, what would you say to um, new business owners in your field, or
Hmm.
people considering it? Um, how would you instruct them? No, that's a bogus way of asking the question as well. Oh,
I
how
think I
have
get what
you?
you're saying. Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah,
go
like
ahead.
how do you take like the lessons that you've learned now?
Yeah.
Like how would you encourage them or instruct them, like translating that knowledge and applying it to
Hmm.
real world, real people? That is what.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely can relate to that. Because for my program, where I took it, I went to York University, and there was the theory, there's all the knowledge, we learned all of that,
Yeah.
but there wasn't really a lot of practical. We did some labs and stuff like that. I actually took a certificate concurrently with my degree. So at the same time with my degree, I actually applied to be a part of that certificate.
Okay.
So that was really impactful for my journey, because I feel like if I didn't
Mhm.
take that, I wouldn't like know or have the experiences that I have right now. And in that class was a very small class. We
Okay.
had to get like accepted to be in it, and it was just labs. And we do things like VO2 testing, and we like practice things on our classmates. So that was really helpful, like doing skin folds and different things like that. And having that practical experience was really like helpful.
Hmm.
So, and I also got my personal training certificate too, so that was helpful too on top of my degree. So I'd say the key is having some practical experience. Like if your program doesn't have like some sort of co-op or like practical experience, like go out and volunteer.
Hmm.
Find a clinic or a gym where you can volunteer or kind of shadow someone. I feel like that would be really helpful. I did shadow someone for a few months after I graduated in
Hmm.
a physio clinic. I shadowed a kinesiologist, and that was helpful for me. But yeah, doing your own research too. If there's a topic or an area of health and fitness that you're passionate about, look into it. You can do other
Hmm.
courses to help with that too. But I'd say the key thing is having that like practical experience with people, because obviously, like you're saying, you could learn something, you can read it in the book, but it's like you see someone now, and you're like, oh,
Hmm.
okay, so yeah, that would, I'd say, be key. I don't know about every university, but mine, I thought there would be a little bit more practical for such a program like kinesiology and health sciences. So maybe in
Yep.
the States it's different, but I say like if your program doesn't find a way to like implement that, that will help you translate that into your career and working with clients and that sort of thing.
For sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, here in the States, I mean, I can't speak for every college, but some of the professionals
Hmm.
that I've talked to here in the States, that is still, while some professors and some programs can be good about it, still one of
Hmm.
those glaring gaps
Yeah.
where, if you are doing applying it to actual people, it's usually the classmates and stuff like that, which is a
Yeah.
very different environment and mindset than if you're working with,
Yeah.
someone who's and you're like, yeah, I could move more, but
Exactly. Yeah.
yes, you don't get those
Yeah.
folks who come in to, you know, work with them.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. For
okay.
sure. Yeah.
What type of people are you working with now? Like, what's your program look like? You said you have some.
Hmm.
You were talking earlier some in-person classes that you're stuff's
Yeah.
like. What's business look like now for
Yes. Right now, I've been focusing with just women,
you? Hmm.
and I was doing mostly online classes for the first few 2 3 years of my business, because it was still kind of COVID times.
Hmm.
So that's how I started with doing group classes online.
Hmm.
And last year, I decided to jump in and try some in-person classes. So that was
Hmm.
fun. I really enjoyed that. So I'm also doing that this year. So that's what I'm kind of doing right now. I have some in-person classes going on, group fitness classes. So I have like a dance fitness class that
Hmm.
gets into that aspect of adding fun. And I love to
Yeah.
dance, so why not? And then I have a boot camp class. So I think it's fun, but some people may not. It's tougher, definitely tougher.
Yeah.
Um,
Boot camp classes, they're usually what, earlier and more rigorous and intense, and you're just like, yeah,
just a little bit.
just a little bit.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what I've been doing, and also had the opportunity the last couple of years just to speak at churches, as well as do like sessions for different like women's programs and at churches and organizations, which was pretty fun to go in and like be a part of events and stuff at other churches.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I've been doing. And I haven't really launched it out, but I've slowly, to my email subscribers, have shared it with one-on-one program design,
Mm-hmm.
online coaching. So you get a consultation. I'd see your goals and things you want to work out, and I build a program for you. And it's either you can. There's some people who just want the program. They're like, I just need something to follow,
Mm-hmm.
or some people who want that kind of accountability and so would have calls with you throughout the time during the program. So slowly sliding that in, but for now,
Nice.
I've just been the group classes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. What's been the I guess for somebody who's doing online only but interested in adding
Hmm.
in some in person, what have been some lessons learned transitioning from online only to in person as well?
Yeah. I think it's I think it's great, actually. It's really great because like when you're online, sometimes you don't see faces, like, so I
Mm-hmm.
have live online classes, then I have also on demand. So I don't see the people who are doing the on demand. So you kind of miss that like connection. So I
Mm-hmm.
think in person is really fun because you get to feed off of people and really, get that connection. So I really do love it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really have too much of a hard time, I'd say, myself. It's pretty similar stuff that I was doing, except now I'm just actually there with people.
Yeah.
um, so yeah, I don't know. For me, I'm trying to think, but I can't really think of. I don't know.
No
Maybe
worries.
there is, but I just can't remember. Yeah.
Is
But for me,
there
it was pretty smooth, and I thought it was pretty like awesome. Yeah,
good?
awesome to
Okay.
be in person with people.
Is there overlap between some of the online people and in person people?
Some, yes, some,
Okay. Nice.
because
Okay. That's cool. You get a chance to see some of them in person and work
yes,
with them. Yeah.
yes, exactly. I did have some that were in the U.S., so they can't commute.
Right.
So those people I won't. But like, yes, the ones that were local, it's nice to see them in person for
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
Where are you? Because obviously, if you're going to do something in person, if you're not at like a park, then you need, interior space. Where are
Mhm.
you? Where are you doing that? What kind of partnerships or
Yes.
you have to develop?
Thankfully, I have my church space and my pastor. They're very kind to let me use the space, so that's where I'm doing it.
Okay.
Um,
Cool.
for now, it's a small space. Well, it's medium space, so it's good for now. But I definitely, if I grow, I'm gonna have to find somewhere bigger, which I anticipate in time will be. But I'm there for now,
Hmm.
so I'm grateful for that. I was
Yeah.
definitely also thinking about the outdoor space, but I haven't dived into that yet. But maybe I might try that.
Okay. When it's
Yeah.
not so hot.
Yeah, because I don't think anybody's gonna come to my class. It's very
Yeah, the outdoor
yeah,
stuff can be really. I recently went to one event, it was like a running
yeah.
event, trying to learn how
Okay,
to run. But then
nice.
there's so many other. I haven't read the details on it yet, but I know here in Chicago there are a number of beaches because we have a giant lake. Um,
Okay,
and there was I read about a yoga class that would happen on the beach. I guess I don't know if it was multiple times a week or once a week. It started off
yeah.
with 12 people, but it made news now because it's at like 4,000 people on the
Wow.
beach. Like,
Okay.
what's the like? Oh my word, but
Yeah,
like that type of like, and obviously, there's media attention now, and there's now, I guess
yeah,
now they got there's more investment and stuff, but I think it
yeah,
might be free, but just to have something like that kind of catch on, just the
yeah.
power of like the in-person experience, the
For sure.
community,
Yeah,
the shared goal of caring for your body and fitness and stuff like that.
definitely.
As outdoor events allow you the possibility of being exposed to more people who happen to just
That's
be
true.
walking by, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And
That's
so,
really awesome. It's
yeah.
inspiring me.
I thought that might be you like, okay, maybe, let's see. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah. That's cool. Yeah,
Um, so you're rolling out the one-on-one, stuff
yeah.
as well. Before we wrap up, what would you say, what do you envision for your business in the next, 1 to 3 years? Where do you want to be?
That's a great question. Um, I'm really just working on like growing and reaching more women. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that is my goal right now. I just desire to, yeah, really grow. That's really just my focus, like reaching as many women as possible
Mm-hmm.
and reaching them with that message of, you know, renewing your mind and changing your perspective on the way you look at your health journey. And that's why I wrote the book too, because I do want as many women as not even just women, because my book is for women and men as possible to be equipped with this knowledge and understanding. And so that's my desire, really just empowering people. And yeah, I want to be like that yoga studio at the beach, actually, you know. I really just want and you know, not just for the fitness, but you know, like we're talking about, just to help women be in a space where their minds can be renewed, because you know there's a lot of fitness classes and stuff out there, um, you know, that you can go to, but my desire is to impact women from the inside out, like they would just be holistically transformed and
Yeah.
changed. And so that's really my desire, so just to reach many, um, that they would desire to glorify God with their body.
Awesome. Okay.
Yes.
And what you say that is with the title of your company, True
Hmm.
Image.
Yes.
Uh, would it be fair to say that one, it's leaning into the truth of scripture, but then two is saying, hey, there is a source where we can find our true image. And that's in contrast to the false images that we're bombarded with on a daily basis.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. That's where it came out from, and even just from my experience with insecurity, that's
Yeah.
why went that route. Actually, my husband chose the name because I was really struggling, and
Nice.
it actually started off as his image. And
Mm-hmm.
we talked to a friend, and they're saying it's kind of, he was saying it's kind of masculine. So I'm like, okay, I get that. If my focus is women, then we switch it to true image. So yeah, knowing that your identity is rooted in Christ, you know, not
Mm-hmm.
in, like you're saying, what the world is saying or what the world tries to push, you know, what the world idea of beauty or health or fitness, you know, because fitness could be wrapped up in appearance, and you know, it's not what they're saying, but it's, your identity is rooted in God, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly why I chose the name. And I don't talk about it much, but the eye in true image is like a half of a butterfly, like if the butterfly is folded.
Mm-hmm.
I probably should talk about it more. Even as you're talking about branding and your reputation, I need to voice it more. But that's to represent like the transformation to not just physically but spiritually, you know, growing in your identity in Christ, growing
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, developing in your health. And so yeah, that's what true image is all about.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a good place to wrap it up. So, Lena, thank you again for being a guest on the podcast. And we will have ways to connect with Lena
Yes.
in the show notes. So if you want to learn more about our company, buy the book, um, do online classes or one of the one-on-one classes, get on the email, newsletter and learn more about that, you will be able to do so. But yeah, thanks again, and look
Thank you
forward
so
to following the
much.
journey for sure.
I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Yep, absolutely. All right, until next time.